right, so Joanna not champion. Here's the problem with her. She should be on everybody's top 10 pound per pound, by the way. And I think she may be the only non-champion that belongs on there. She is the most decorated non-champion because she is the only fighter in the organization that if you did this by NCAA or Olympic standards where you give medals to the top 3, she's a silver medalist in at least 2 divisions right now. She's the second best fighter in the world in 2 different divisions. So what do? She's got to pick one. She wants to be champion. She wants to be on a title run. She's just missing out on the championship, but she's a gap between the bronze medal. She's the second best fighter in the world in 2 different divisions. It's a very tough spot. She is very special. She brings a grit, a determination. She brings a look, an interview. She brings an intensity and a willingness. She's a very unique and special fighter. But what do? So, the fight with Waterson, I thought that Michelle went out there and really represented herself. I thought Michelle just showed so much heart, so much grit, so much toughness. Eventually, these contests do come down to skill. Eventually. And skill is not the first thing that is being tested out there between who gets their hand raised and who doesn't. Determination would trump skill. Conditioning could trump skill. Positioning could trump skill. Eventually, though, skill does come into it. When you have 2 ladies like we did that wanted to fight, that weren't scared of where the match goes, that weren't going to fall down and quit, weren't going to stop on the stool, they were going to get it on all night long. Eventually, you go down. Skill came into it. Joanna was a better fighter. Joanna was a little bit better with her range. Michelle threw some air balls, both with her feet and both with her hands. So what? It's not an insult. Not an insult in the least. Joanna gets a compliment here. Michelle does not get insulted. This was one of those fights where you just stand back and go, wow. Bravo. When you do look at this, there was an added piece of drama, which is Joanna had called in ahead of time and said, I'm not going to make the weight class. Now, officially, how does this go? I'm asking a question here. Officially, I don't think that means that Joanna missed weight. By example, I don't think she lost a part of her purse. I believe what happened officially is she called in and said, I can't do that, so we need a new weight. Everybody got on the phone and agreed to something, and I think they had a catch weight, what's called a contracted weight, which means she made weight. She just made a different weight than what was initially planned, but that is relevant. It's relevant in some ways because if that's not officially what happened, then in my opinion, that should not have been a 5-round fight. I know a lot of you don't share my opinion. But I do not think if it's not for the championship, and I can accept that they're even doing the main event, but if somebody misses weight, I do not feel that you should then have to do a 5-round contest at a disadvantage. I don't care if it's a pound or 2 pounds or a tenth, it's a disadvantage, which is why it was written down and why it was agreed upon ahead of time. I don't think you would resist me making that argument. But it is relevant, isn't it? Because it does create a conversation, doesn't it? Because that was one hell of a fight, but Jedrzejczyk is a 5-round fighter. That's where she would prefer to be. In fact, if you wanted to make it 7 rounds, she's going to be the first one to the party. Would have it changed the outcome? Nah, I'm not going that far, but I do think that we had a good contest there. And I do think we had 2 very active young ladies that showed up and brought their courage and their competitive spirit with them. And I do think you'd have seen a different fight because you would have seen a different output. I think you would have seen the same amount of energy exerted, which would equal all of it. They're emptying the gas tank out, but now they would have done it in 15 minutes. I think that you could make a case that you would have seen a different fight, that you would have seen different levels of energy. And while Michelle is now in the 5-round club, and she did just fine with it, no question about that, I think she's more suited for 3. Like a normal human being. Thought it was a lot of fun. I do think that we need a little bit of clarity on that. I would like the answer to that question. So I'm asking you guys the question. Did Joanna miss weight officially, or were they able to change the weight ahead of time? Therefore, they competed at the agreed upon weight class, and therefore, the 5 rounds was the appropriate atmosphere.
Uncle Chael, there's no bad guy like Uncle Chael. Never lost, not even a round, undefeated, undisputed. Oh yeah.